"Disgusting gay, get away from here. No one will help a freak like you." A pastor humiliated a gay student, but Jesus gave him a lesson he'll never forget. The words tore through the late afternoon air like a whip, sharp, cruel, and louder than the market chatter around them. People walking by turned their heads. Some slowed, others pretended not to see. A few winced, as if the humiliation itself stung their own skin. Pastor Isaiah stood tall, towering, imposing, his voice drenched in contempt. His neatly combed hair, grey just beginning to creep along the sides, gleamed under the sun. His Bible was tucked under his arm like a weapon, his face, hardened by arrogance disguised as righteousness, twisted with disgust as he stared at the young man before him. That young man, Lucas, was only 25. Slim, delicate features, soft brown eyes that carried kind warmth even now as they watered with shame. He wore a long, flowing blue dress, thrift store fabric, but beautiful in the way it expressed freedom. A small makeup smudge marked the side of his cheek from earlier tears he had swallowed instead of letting fall. In his trembling hand, a stack of raffled tickets bent now by sweat and anxiety. He had only asked for help, just a small donation, a gesture of support for a college fundraiser so he could pay for his architecture materials. He had been walking under the sun for hours, smiling despite the whispers, enduring stares, believing that surely someone would show kindness. But instead he found Pastor Isaiah. Lucas swallowed hard. His voice came out soft, fragile like a cracked wing. I just need a little help, sir. It's for school, I swear. Isaiah interrupted with a shove of words sharper than steel. "I don't want your lies. You're an abomination walking around in women's clothes. A shame. You think God accepts this sickness?" Lucas stepped back. The crowd watched now, silent, complicit. Please," Lucas whispered. "I just need a chance. I want to finish my studies. I want to do good." Isaiah laughed coldly. "Good? You? You're filth. You will never see the kingdom of heaven. Get out of my sight." And then it happened. Isaiah kicked him, a full, violent kick to the hip that sent Lucas falling to the pavement. The tickets scattered like wounded birds across the sidewalk. People gasped, but no one intervened. Some looked at the ground, guilty for their silence. One woman put a hand to her mouth, unsure whether to speak or to run. Lucas pressed his hand on the ground, breath shaking. Pain radiated through his ribs, but worse was the humiliation, the feeling of being less than human. He gathered his tickets slowly, fingers trembling. "I'm sorry," he whispered through tears. "I'm just trying. I just want to be someone." Isaiah looked down on him with a smirk. "You'll never be anything. God rejects your kind." But while Isaiah saw only sin, someone else saw everything. Unnoticed among the crowd, at the corner where sunlight broke through buildings like a halo, a man stood. Simple clothes, eyes deep as oceans of compassion, presence serene yet commanding. No one recognized him, yet every soul felt his warmth without knowing why. His name needed no introduction. Jesus watched. He saw the hatred. He saw the shame. He saw the heart of each man, and he was not pleased. A wind brushed through the street with no natural reason. A sudden silence, heavy like the moment before a storm. The sky dimmed for a second, though the sun still hung bright. People shivered without knowing why. Lucas gathered the last ticket and stood slowly. His dress was dusty, his wrist red from the fall. Still, he forced a gentle smile, too kind for a world that spat at him. "Thank you for your time, sir," he whispered, voice tight with sorrow, yet dignity unbroken. Isaiah scoffed and turned away proudly, believing he had defended holiness. He walked down the sidewalk toward his church, chest lifted as if heaven itself applauded him. But heaven was silent. In fact, it trembled. Because what Isaiah called righteousness, God called cruelty, and what he called sin, God saw as a hurting soul deserving love. Jesus followed Lucas, not with footsteps, but presence. Warmth filled the young man's heart, subtle at first, like someone placing a comforting hand on his back. Lucas felt it though he could not see him. Something whispered inside him, "You are loved. You are seen." Lucas took a deep breath. He wiped his tears. He kept walking. Meanwhile, Pastor Isaiah reached his church, a large white building with golden trim, cross gleaming proudly at the top. Members greeted him as he entered. "Good evening, Pastor. You look blessed today. A powerful sermon tonight, please." Isaiah smiled, pride swelling. He believed he was a warrior of God. He believed righteousness flowed through his veins. He believed humiliation was discipline, cruelty was correction, prejudice was purity. Inside the church, stained glass windows shone with colors of saints and angels. Candles flickered. The choir prepared softly. Everything looked holy, yet heaven felt far away. Isaiah walked to the pulpit. He opened his Bible dramatically. "My brothers and sisters," he began, voice booming, "today I fought the devil himself in the street." People cheered, unaware. "I rebuked a sinful soul who walks in shameful clothing, a man pretending to be a woman, a disgrace." More claps, murmurs of agreement. Heads nodded. But a sudden chill swept through the room. Candles flickered violently. A thunder crackled outside, though no cloud had been there moments ago. The choir fell silent. Isaiah swallowed. Then a voice, not loud, not shouted, but more powerful than every sermon ever preached. It echoed inside his heart rather than his ears. "Isaiah." He froze. His hands trembled. The Bible slipped slightly. "Why do you speak in my name but not with my heart?" Isaiah looked around. No one else seemed to hear it. Sweat trickled down his neck. Who is there?" he whispered. But he knew, because when God speaks, the soul recognizes him. Pastor Isaiah stood frozen behind the pulpit long after the congregation finished singing. He tried to speak, but his throat tightened like an invisible hand gripped it. His heart beat too loud, too fast. The church was full, yet he felt unbearably alone. He lifted his hands and forced the words out. "My brothers, let us pray." But his voice came out weak, nothing like the commanding tone he used earlier when he yelled at Lucas in the street. He closed his eyes, the congregation followed, but Isaiah couldn't pray. The moment he shut his eyes, he saw it. Lucas on the pavement, the kicked raffle ticket scattering like broken feathers, tears on the young man's face, and his own voice, hateful and loud, "Disgusting gay, no one will help a freak like you." He felt sick. Suddenly the church felt too small, the walls too close, the air too heavy. A cold sweat ran down his spine. He gripped the podium, knuckles white. Then it came, a voice, not like thunder, but like sorrow wrapped in light. "You speak of me, yet you do not reflect me." Isaiah's breath hitched. He looked around sharply, but nobody reacted. Everyone's heads remained bowed, unaware. His body trembled. He tried to swallow, but his mouth was dry as dust. "Lord," he whispered. The voice did not return, yet the silence that followed felt louder than sound. It pressed against his chest, filled the whole sanctuary, and with it came a deep, piercing conviction. He rushed through the rest of the service, barely aware of his own words. When it finally ended, people left talking cheerfully, shaking his hand, calling him pastor, man of God, leader. But their praise felt hollow. It stabbed instead of lifted. When the last member left, Isaiah sat alone on the front pew. The colored light from the stained glass windows washed across the floor in soft patches of red and gold. He stared into nothing. He had always believed he lived righteously. He preached truth. He quoted scripture fluently. He stood firm against sin. Yet why did tonight feel like his heart was crumbling? Why did that one moment with Lucas echo louder than every sermon he'd ever preached? He dropped his head into his hands. A whisper of footsteps breathed through the sanctuary. Isaiah raised his eyes, and his heart nearly stopped. A man stood halfway down the aisle, moving forward slowly. Clothed in simple robes, barefoot, no drama, no glowing halo, yet his presence filled the room like sunrise fills the horizon. Every breath of air seemed to lean toward him. Isaiah stood, knees shaking. "Lord, I don't understand," he stammered. The figure lifted his hand gently, and Isaiah fell silent without being commanded. Warmth spread across the room. Not fire, not heat, but truth. "You wounded with words meant to heal." Dripping shame stung Isaiah's chest. Tears pooled in his eyes. "I thought I was defending your law," he whispered. The figure's gaze was deep, deeper than memory, deeper than guilt. "You defended pride, not love." Isaiah's knees buckled and he sank to the floor. Tears escaped as though they had been waiting years to fall. "I hurt him," Isaiah confessed, voice cracking. "I thought hatred was holiness. I was wrong." The man, the teacher, reached out and touched Isaiah's cheek. "Every soul is mine, even those you reject." Warmth flooded Isaiah like sunlight through shattered stone. His chest opened, his walls cracked. The truth he had never allowed himself to feel finally poured in. "Learn," the voice said with gentle firmness. "Make right what you made wrong." Then the presence faded, not like disappearance, but like light softly dimming after dawn has done its work. Isaiah remained on the floor long after, crying not only for Lucas, but for the blindness he had wrapped himself in for years. Meanwhile, miles away, Lucas walked street after street under the cool night sky. His clothes still held wrinkles from where he was shoved. His knees burned where the kick landed. But somehow, hope had survived. He clutched his raffle papers, damp but unharmed, and tried to smile. He remembered kind things, small things, a professor praising his art, a friend helping him pick out dresses that made him feel alive, a grandmother whispering, "God sees the heart, not the outfit." He whispered into the night, "God, if you're real, don't forget me." A warm breeze touched his face like a hand brushing away fear. Lucas stopped walking. Something in the air felt different, lighter, safer. He turned a corner and met an old woman selling bread beneath a small umbrella. She noticed the raffle tickets at once. "What are those for, dear?" she asked kindly. Lucas cleared his throat nervously. "A college fundraiser." She studied him just long enough to see the exhaustion behind his smile. "I'll take 5. Lucas blinked. "Really?" She nodded and placed money in his hand. More money than he expected. Then someone else approached. A businessman. Then a couple. Then 2 teenagers curious about helping. In 20 minutes, Lucas sold almost everything he had. 50 tickets gone, then 60, then 70. Every sale patched a hole inside him torn by hate earlier that day. Every smile he received felt like a small miracle. Lucas felt lighter, brighter, almost floating. And across the street, unseen but undeniably present, the teacher watched with a soft, proud smile. Not every miracle is loud. Some arrived disguised as strangers with kind eyes. Hours passed. The sky darkened. Rain began. Not a drizzle, a storm. Thunder cracked open the night like a warning. People rushed for cover. Lucas ran too, clutching the envelope of money to his chest. The streets glimmered with reflections of headlights on wet pavement. He was 1 block from home when he heard it. Tires skidding. A truck lost control on the slick road. Lucas turned. Bright headlights. Metal sliding. No time to move. His body froze. Then, impossibly, time slowed. Raindrops hung in the air like suspended diamonds. The world became silent. Lucas felt warmth at his back, like invisible arms encircling him. A voice whispered, not to ears, but to soul, "Not tonight." He stumbled backward as time snapped back into motion. The truck roared past, inches from him, splashing water against the curb where he had stood just moments before. Lucas trembled violently, heart racing. "I should be dead," he gasped. But he wasn't. He was alive. He stood in the rain, crying and laughing at once, overwhelmed by something he could not understand but deeply felt. Love had protected him. He pressed his hand over his heart. "Thank you," he whispered shakily into the storm. "Thank you." Back at home, Isaiah couldn't sleep. He paced the living room, haunted by conviction and mercy intertwined. The storm hammered the roof like 1,000 hands knocking. He felt one truth so strongly it shook his bones. Find him. He grabbed his coat and stepped outside into the downpour. Water soaked him instantly, but he didn't stop. Street after street, block after block, he searched. His shoes filled with water, his hair dripped, his breath came quick, but he kept going. It was nearly 2 in the morning when a flash of lightning lit the sidewalk ahead, and there sat Lucas under a bus stop, hugging his knees, shivering. Isaiah stopped. For a moment, neither moved. The rain quieted around them, as though the world held its breath. Isaiah stepped forward slowly. Lucas looked up, eyes wary, defensive, wounded. Isaiah's voice trembled. "Lucas," he swallowed regret like bitter medicine. "I hurt you. I judged you. I called you names I had no right to speak." Tears blurred his sight. "I was wrong." He dropped to his knees in the cold rain. "I am so sorry." The storm softened to a gentle rainfall, like heaven exhaling relief. Lucas stared, shocked, hesitant, emotional. Then slowly, he reached out his hand. Isaiah took it, hands shaking, heart breaking open like a seed finally ready to grow. Not forgiveness yet, but the first step toward it. And sometimes the first step is everything. His kicks landed hard, one to Diego's ribs, another to his thigh, enough to make him fold like paper. His raffle tickets scattered across the sidewalk like fallen leaves. A few pedestrians slowed down, staring, but no one intervened. Maybe out of fear, maybe out of silent agreement, or maybe because cruelty, when shouted by someone wearing authority, sometimes masks itself as righteousness. Isaiah's face twisted with satisfaction, as if he believed he had done God's work. He spat near Diego's hand and turned away, robes brushing the pavement like a final dismissive sentence. Diego stayed on the ground for a moment, breath shaking, vision blurry. The world seemed colder, heavier. He could taste iron in his mouth, blood or bitterness, he wasn't sure. His makeup smeared, mascara streaking down like black rain. People kept walking, some whispered, others stared. A few recorded on their phones, but nobody offered a hand. Yet inside Diego, something refused to break. He had lived 25 years, fighting to exist. This moment would not end him. Slowly, painfully, he gathered the bent raffle tickets, flattened them beneath trembling fingers, and stood back up. His stockings were torn, knee scraped raw, but he forced a smile anyway, fragile yet stubborn. From across the street, an old woman approached. Her eyes were kind, soft like warm bread. She did not ask questions. She simply placed a warm hand on Diego's cheek and whispered, almost like a blessing carried by wind, "You are loved, child. Don't let the darkness of others dim your light." She bought 10 tickets, more than anyone that day. And for the first time since the kick, Diego exhaled. Hope flickered back into him like a candle relit. Meanwhile, Pastor Isaiah walked away as if nothing had happened, but something inside him felt off. A strange pressure behind his chest, cold then hot, like invisible fingers tightening around guilt he didn't want to acknowledge. His steps slowed. His hands trembled without reason. He dismissed it. A simple annoyance, he told himself. He returned to his church, a tall white building with polished wooden doors and bright stained glass windows depicting angels. Sunday service was starting soon, so he prepared his sermon with practiced grandeur. His words spoke of holiness, obedience, purity. He shouted about sin, corruption, and the importance of walking the righteous path. The congregation nodded, some even cheering. But as he preached, his voice began to waver, because behind those stained glass panes, in the colors of blue and gold, Isaiah thought he saw something move, a silhouette, a shimmer like someone watching. He blinked, and the image vanished. He tried to continue. "And those who walk astray will..." His throat closed. No sound followed. Panic flashed across his face. He clutched the pulpit, trying to speak, but the words strangled themselves in silence. The congregation murmured, confused. The choir members exchanged glances. Isaiah opened his mouth again. Nothing. He couldn't speak. The voice that once shouted hatred so easily was gone. His heart hammered. Sweat dripped down his neck. The world around him spun like a wheel losing balance. He stumbled back, gasping, unable to form even a whisper. Members of the church rushed to help, but Isaiah shook them off, humiliated, terrified. He staggered outside into the sunlight, chest heaving. He tried to pray, but prayer requires words, and words no longer belonged to him. He fell to his knees on the church steps. For the first time in years, Pastor Isaiah felt small. Diego, miles away, sat in his tiny apartment. He washed the dirt from his bruises, replaced his torn stockings, and stared at himself in the mirror. Red eyes, swollen lip, but still standing. He remembered the woman's words, "You are loved." He repeated them softly until they no longer felt like lies. Then he got a message from the university. "Your charity project has been selected to receive a full support grant." He burst into tears, not from pain, but relief, joy, validation. Life had answered him with kindness. Isaiah, meanwhile, faced the longest night of his life. Speechless, anxious, hands shaking, he tried to beg for forgiveness silently, writing prayers on scraps of paper. But the silence echoed louder than any sermon he had ever preached. He lay awake until dawn, haunted by the memory of Diego's face, the fear, the hurt. For the first time, he realized the enormity of his cruelty. He was a shepherd who had beaten the lost lamb. The weight of that truth crushed him more harshly than any divine punishment ever could. Morning sunlight crept through Isaiah's window like a silent judge, illuminating the room where pages of unfinished prayers lay scattered across the floor. He hadn't slept. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Diego curled on the sidewalk, clutching those broken raffle tickets like they were his last hope. He remembered the kick, the scream, the way his congregation had looked at him yesterday, confused, concerned, unsure, and worst of all, the silence in his own throat. He touched his neck as if to confirm it. He tried to speak. Nothing, only breath, a whisper without voice. His entire identity had been built on words, to preach, to command, to correct, and without them, what was he? A pastor without a voice was like a lighthouse without a flame. Tall but useless, desperate, he went to the bathroom mirror. His reflection stared back, older than he remembered. The proud posture had wilted. His eyes, once sharp with judgment, were now swollen with something unfamiliar. Was it regret or fear? He pressed his hand to the glass, as if trying to reach the man he used to be. But maybe that man needed to disappear. By noon, Isaiah forced himself outside. The sunlight felt heavy, as if the world itself watched him. Every pedestrian seemed like a witness to his shame. He wrapped a scarf around his neck, hiding the silence like a wound. He walked with no destination, only a pull, a whisper of conscience guiding him. Through busy streets, past cafes where people laughed freely, past parks where families played. Life carried on, unaware that a man who once believed himself righteous now felt stripped to the bone. Eventually, he reached the same street where he had seen Diego the day before. The sidewalk remembered everything, even if strangers passing by did not. He stood still, haunted by the ghost of his own actions. He expected to see the young man again, but the corner was empty. Only a crumpled flyer remained, pinned under a stone. Isaiah picked it up. It was one of Diego's raffle tickets, dirty, torn, smeared with shoe marks. Yet the printed words were still visible. Help support our student charity project. Education should lift everyone. Everyone. Such a simple word, yet yesterday he had decided that one soul was worth less than another. Isaiah pressed the ticket against his heart, feeling something crack open inside, like a shell breaking. Across the city, Diego walked through campus carrying new hope like a lantern in his chest. His grant acceptance email had been shared by the university's social media, drawing messages of support from professors, classmates, even strangers. His phone vibrated constantly with notifications. "You deserve this. So proud of you. Never stop shining." He smiled between tears, disbelief softening into gratitude. His bruises still ached when he moved, but pain felt like proof he had survived. He sat under a tree with a close friend, Camilla, who traced the bruise near his jaw with gentle fingers. "Does it hurt?" she asked. "Only when I smile," he said, then laughed despite himself. "So, yes, a lot." Camilla hugged him tightly. He melted into it, human warmth, finally where cruelty had been yesterday. "You're stronger than you think, Di," she murmured. "The world can be harsh, but you're still here, still shining. That matters." And Diego realized something he had forgotten. Being himself was an act of courage. Isaiah returned to his church later that afternoon. He found the sanctuary empty. No choir, no congregation, no applause to feed his pride. Just silence. The same silence now living in his throat. He sat in the first pew. He bowed his head, and for the first time his prayer was not loud and commanding, but silent and raw. "Let me make it right." No thunder answered. No miracle restored his voice. Just the quiet feeling that the road to forgiveness is walked, not granted. But a thought came through the stillness, clear as if whispered by something beyond him. "Go find him. Apologize. Learn. Change." Isaiah stood. His heart trembled, but his feet moved. He grabbed his coat and stepped out again, this time not as a judge walking above others, but as a man trying to become human. Evening fell as he reached the campus, searching through halls, bulletin boards, common areas. He showed students Diego's photo from the raffle ticket, pointing, gesturing, hoping someone recognized him. Most shrugged, but one student lit up. "Oh, Diego! Yeah, he's presenting his charity proposal in the auditorium right now." Isaiah's chest tightened.